I see his cam. Oh, you actually got in suit. Nice.
I would get in suit, but I can't work with the hooves.
Yeah, I can't get in suit because I have nobody here to actually do the zippers in the back. Mine's a back zipper.
Well, he's having too much fun over there.
I'm going to be sweating like crazy over there.
So that was kind of the intro that we planned, and then yeah, I think got a little messed up on the intro on the start of the panel. So sorry, guys. My name's Affinity. Apologies to Maddoggieca and Lightning Flash for having to sort of fill the void for the first few minutes there. I'm not really sure why that went that way, but hey, technical glitches, they happen, right? So I wasn't even fully in suit. So again, my name's Affinity, and I'm going to be your host for Costuming with Fursuits. And with my co-host, I guess we can call him that, Maddoggieca, who is in the background there. And Lightning Flash is one of our many guests that I'm hoping to see today. We have quite a few people that are actually going to be joining us throughout the panel to show off their costume. And excuse me while I catch my breath, and just tell us a little bit more about what this costuming medium is really like for them, and how it really works to be a full body costume. So first of all, I'll start out with who I am. So my name's Affinity. I'm the chair of Vancouver Pony Expo as well as Halloween. I am a furry, but I'm going to say this now. Fursuiting is a term that's used in many different aspects. Yes, it probably did start in the fur fandom, but I can tell you right now that that is definitely not the only place that people refer to costumes like this as a fursuit. But I think you can all agree that this is not specifically a furry costume. This is what a lot of people would call a pony suit, or I just call them fursuits because, let's be fair, it's made of fur. Travis, I'm sure you agree with me on that one.
Yeah, no, that's a fursuit.
Yeah. So, I mean, the term fursuit, I mean, I also have a dolphin suit. I don't know if you'd call that a skin suit. That's just weird. So we just call it a fursuit. I don't know. Or you could just call it a costume, whatever. They're all different kinds of characters that we wear and perform as in order to convey a particular idea or concept or emotion. And that's actually something a lot of people don't get with costumes, is that this is meant to make people feel a certain way. And remember, it's not just about you. While it is a huge amount of fun to jump into one of these, it is very, very much about your audience. So in a lot of cases, I have costumes that I don't wear in particular cases. This particular convention, Rainbow Dash, obviously makes the most sense. I mean, she's definitely the part of the topic. I love this character. I've always loved Rainbow Dash. She's my favorite pony. And the fact that I can put on a costume in the better course of 2 minutes, my girlfriend Sugar saw this happen, and be that character in almost no time flat or in 20 seconds flat, is really quite impressive. 10 seconds flat, man, I got to get that quote right. Jeez, what's wrong with me? But there's lots of other kinds of characters that you can be when it comes to full body costumes. So we're hoping to show a number of those today. And I need to stress, guys, this is not a furry panel. This is a costuming panel. And when I say it's not a furry panel, what I mean is a lot of people seem to think that because you wear a fursuit, you must be a furry. Now, in this case, it's true. But not everyone is a furry simply because they wear a fursuit. It is a very unique medium for costuming. It is something that you really can't describe until you've been in it and tried it yourself, which is part of the reason we're here today, is to sort of talk about what it's like to be a full character and the challenges of it, the benefits of it, the costs of it, and a number of other things. So why don't we start off, since she's standing right here and wearing her costume already, we'll bring my girlfriend Sugar out in her character, Sugar. So as you can see, she's somewhat relevant to this topic because she has hooves. She's a cow. She's actually specifically a Texas Longhorn, if I'm getting that correct. So she has the longer horns and that kind of thing. So it's sort of an identifying mark on the character. Her character is something she wears pretty well everywhere. I mean, it's not a character that is isolated to just one fandom or one particular area, but it works in many places. I mean, she can go to an MLP convention, and I don't know, I think she fits in just fine, don't you? But I don't know, that's the way I see it. She's wearing, obviously, the Rainbow Dash onesie, which is one of the benefits of having separate hands and hooves, and head, I should say. So yeah, anything you want to say about Sugar?
She's new. I got her last August. She's super fun to be in because she's got, she's got an excited expression. I don't know. I would say out of full suits and partials, I kind of prefer partials because you can dress it up, kind of thing. You can dress up a full suit too, but it's going to be a lot hotter, where it's not as hot if you're going to be in a partial, where, and then there is poodling, which a lot of people don't like, but that's when you just have hooves and your skin out. That can make it a lot cooler. I've done it. It's like, it doesn't look as good, but people do it. And yeah, I guess this is my moo. There you go.
It's your moo.
My moo.
Forgive me, I'm just trying to bring up our questions and answers here, and I can't seem to find our stage notes.
It's the stage one?
Yeah, I'm looking to find it. Anyway, no big deal. So we'll just continue on with what we're talking about. So, all right. So here we are. So next thing I wanted to talk about was sort of like what defines a fursuit. And eventually I will find this panel. So apologies for looking down at while I'm talking here. There we go. Neural net stage questions. There we go. All right. I can now see all your questions, guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to make mention of it. I believe we are in NeuroNet's stage. Yes, we are. So, all right. So just to mention, and I am sweating, my goodness.
I know.
Yeah, it is really warm in here. It got really humid in Vancouver all of a sudden. There's a fan there. Now I can feel it.
I'm going to let you take over.
All right. Thanks, Sugar. Thank you, Sugar. Appreciate you coming out. She made the effort to get up, put on her suit for us for that. And obviously, Mad Doggy, if you have anything that you would like to add or any costumes you'd like to demonstrate, probably makes sense.
Yeah.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I was just saying, you still have the floor. Keep going.
Okay. So a lot of people ask, what defines a fursuit, or what is different about a fursuit compared to what you might be used to? A lot of people use the term cosplay to describe costuming. I'm not a fan of that word. While it is the most commonly used word, I don't like it because I don't consider costuming play to be a proper description. It's more of costuming performance, but that's just the way I take it. Anyway, cosplay, a typical cosplay, like what most people would refer to as a costuming, is where you are a person with accessories. So you could be a Nico, you could be a pony, frankly. I mean, you could wear, let me actually hear it. It's away from my immediate view, but you could wear this right here, for example. Hey, look, everybody, I'm cosplaying. I'm cosplaying Cadence, apparently. I mean, that's an example, I would say, but I think there's a pretty big difference between this and this. So that's kind of the difference that I'm trying to highlight today, in the fact that you could have different forms of costuming, and there's nothing wrong with any one of them, but this is, without any doubts, in my mind anyway, the most involving. It's most involving, and yet also the most easy to get in and out of. One of the advantages of having a full body costume is I can, unzip the zipper and, take the costume off and be a normal person within like 5 minutes, maybe even less. So that does give you the benefit of potentially even doing multiple costumes in a day. And I will do that quite often. In fact, when I go to a convention, quite often I will have Rainbow Dash. I will have my husky, who's Ayoko, who is in the bedroom right now. He's locked away in his bag. But either way, I've got a couple different costumes that I wear. And so I can go out and for, a couple hours be Rainbow Dash and then cool off for a bit, go put on another costume. So that's the advantage of having a full body costume. But the fact that it is a full body costume means it's just got a different look to it. I mean, you can't call this a cosplay or equivalent. I mean, well, you can, but I think everyone would agree that this having hooves and no hands, having wings out your back that are integrated into the fabric in the back, you've got a tail that's integrated. I've got hooves down here. You know, like it's pretty obvious that this is a little bit more than just putting on a pair of shoes and a nice jacket. Now, that said, nothing wrong with that. This is just a little bit of a different look, because when I'm wearing this fully, hopefully during the intro, I did look a little bit like Rainbow Dash, even though she's only walking on 2 hooves. Okay, fine. Creative merit, creative license, but it's still something that you can get a little bit more involvement with. And you'll see this with your audience. If you're used to cosplay, you'll notice that most people, they don't really stay in character all that often. Those that do, hey, thank you. That's awesome that you do. But those that do, still have a little bit of an extra barrier to get past, because when you look at someone, say I was wearing Rainbow Dash like blue face paint and maybe a little prosthetic on my face or something, and I had a onesie on like what Sugar was wearing, or I had clothes that look similar to Equestria Girls or whatever. Okay, number one, I don't really look like that gender, so pulling off a female character when I am presenting as masculine can be very difficult to kind of work past that. So you've got challenges there. Second thing is your audience might not see you the same way. You might look at that and say, well, that's really nice face paint. That's really nice, makeup and costume. But I mean, I can tell that's a person. Whereas this costume, I go up to a 5 to 10-year-old. I am Rainbow Dash. It's not there's a person dressed as Rainbow Dash. I am Rainbow Dash. So now it's obviously for adults, we know it's a costume, but the suspension of disbelief is a very large part of costume performance, at least to me. And being able to play on that, the fact I don't speak, because I don't speak like Rainbow Dash. So my answer is, well, Rainbow Dash can't fly and she can't speak in this world because I can't speak like Rainbow Dash. If I could, maybe I would. I don't know. But anyway, with that in mind, there's certain things that people and kids and families and whatever else accept when you're in a costume like this. They can suspend disbelief. So when you wear a full body costume, you have a lot more of that at your disposal compared to a lot of other costumes. So that to me is one of the biggest reasons I find that full body mascot, fursuit, whatever you want to call it, is my preference for costuming, because it is that much more able to bring things in. I don't know if that described it. Would you describe that as your feelings as well, Mad Doggy, or what do you think?
Yep, definitely. Full body, you definitely will be seen as something else instead of someone else. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's not the same at all.
Yep.
Quick question from Fluff Paws Draws. They're asking, where can you find makers like this? Well, there's a lot of different makers that can come up there. And you know what? This is a pretty good segue into speaking to our other person who is on the channel here. So Lightning Flash, thank you for being so patient and hanging out. I think we can all agree that there are many different makers out there. And wow, my hair is doing crazy things. You grab my hat. Rule of thumb: don't shower before you fursuit. Anyway, my hair is a bit messy. Apologies.
While wearing one.
Ain't that true?
Yeah, it's true. So I mean, there's many different places where you can get costumes or these fursuits. Most people commission them, and a commission can be very, very expensive, or not as expensive. Sugar's a good example where she found a maker who is just trying things out and getting used to making costumes, and so was willing to charge a little bit less. But then you can also make it yourself, and that's where I lead into Lightning Flash and and their experience. So why don't you talk a little bit about your experience with fursuiting Lightning Flash?
Well, I mostly ran into it at BronyCon when I first started going there, which is I think 6 years in a row now. Except now it's gonna stop at 6. But so I made all of my suit was made with a 3D printer pretty much, and foam and fur. And then all the little extra stuff for like the eyes, and then electronics if you add electronics to your suit. But for the most part, it's mostly foam. And I'll show the head here. So this is 3D printed, but you can make it out of foam just as easily. And inside, it's packed with a little bit of foam for comfort. Probably can't really see it too much. Let me switch over to screen sharing here so I can talk a little more about it. Let's see. Screen share. I guess I do use this program, don't I? 1 second. Sorry about that. Thought screen sharing was a thing on here.
Yeah, you should be able to, although it may be that we've been limited to not do that.
Okay. Well, I can just turn the camera around here. So.
Should let you. I'm surprised it's not, to be honest with you.
So, for example, this is the software that I used to screen share with it. Oh, oops, sorry. Getting myself messed up here. Camera. Okay, so this is the software I used to like create the 3D model on my printer. And
sorry, we're not seeing you right now, man.
You're not?
No.
Oh. There we go.
There we go.
There you go.
So sorry about not being able to screen share, but this will work. So this is the software I used to like 3D model it and turn it into an actual headpiece. And I've got a pretty large printer at home. It's not everyone's gonna be able to afford a big printer, but you can put it into smaller pieces and then use adhesives and epoxies to glue together. Actually, this hoof right here was 2 pieces, and there's actually a handle inside. I don't know if you can kind of see it.
Yep.
And then the rest of the suit is in here. I don't really have a lot of storage, so it stays in the box, and it stays mostly fluffed. And I recommend if you do ever get a suit, get a tote, because it will help tremendously, as well as cooling. Cooling is your most important thing when you get a suit or if you make a suit. In this case, I put a couple fans in the top of the head here, underneath the hair. Nice. And that helps tremendously.
Nice.
But if you think making a suit is hard, I did all of this within about 3 or 4 weeks before BronyCon, and I had never made a suit in my life up until that point.
Okay. I'm going to preface that lightning flash. Most people can't pull off the quality of suit, quality of suit that you did in the time frame you did, or at all.
Oh yeah.
An awful lot without an awful lot of experience. So bear in mind, your mileage may vary. My first suit was definitely not as good as yours. I made a dolphin suit because my character is a dolphin. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make a dolphin suit because nobody else makes them. So why not? Yeah, it's not easy, but I learned sewing. I learned, sculpting. I learned plastic molding because I actually made the head out of plastic. And I learned a bunch of different topics that I really hadn't touched before. So it's like another crafting exercise. I don't know if that was that for you as well.
Yeah, like I had never sewn in my life. Actually, my mom had a sewing machine, luckily, which definitely helps. Because hand sewing one of these, oh my god, I would give up. It'd be way too long of a process.
I hand sewed my first head, but the body I definitely did not hand sew. That would take forever. I know someone who did though, and it took them a couple months.
So unfortunately, I hot glued all of this on. So I am probably never going to get this off very easily if I ever have to fix it.
To be fair, man, that's exactly how the professional makers do it too. So that's not that unusual.
Yeah.
Hot glue and stuff like that. We could get into like crafting methods. That could be a whole topic in itself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think we'll just say that that's probably not what we're going to go with this one. But thank you very much for sharing. That's awesome. We'll come back.
You do have a follow-up question though.
Yeah, I saw that. So regarding the makers, where do you find pony suits specifically is the question. So pony suits are definitely a very specific subset of costuming, just like our fandom is. What you'll find that while there's nobody who specifically advertises pony suits, there are a lot of makers who are willing to make them if you ask. So if you see a style of a character that you kind of like, and you think that, hey, man, that would look really cool. Like, I mean, let's be fair. This doesn't look like Rainbow Dash, you know, quote unquote. This is a character that looks kind of like Rainbow Dash, and it has all the same characteristics of Rainbow Dash to make it work. Now, I never pretended that this is the most show accurate head. However, it is one of my favorite out there because it's just got a different look to it. It's got a different expression. Her ears are really large. She's got a different sort of facial structure compared to the show. I mean, it's not exactly show accurate, but I would argue has a little more personality than some of the more show accurate ones. Now, that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean that I don't think the other ones look good too. So my point is that like this character, for example, this suit was made by Phoenix Wolf. And Phoenix Wolf is the one who made, if you know Telephone, she's quite famous. The first Telephone suit was made by Phoenix Wolf. You may even notice that Rainbow Dash's head looks an awful lot like an angel dragon. If you know what an angel dragon is, that's because it's the same base. So it's a little bit of a different style, but this was her take on the character, and I think it looks pretty good. Now, your feelings on that might be different. Maybe you want the most accurate going, in which case Adelon the Deer is who you want to look up. He makes suits to this day. He's in Germany, from what I recall. The only thing I can recommend very strongly is if you do go with a suit from him, and we're going to actually hopefully see an Adelon suit coming up here because I have Mitzi is going to be joining with her Starlight Glimmer. And that character is an Adelon suit, and it looks amazing. The one thing that he does do as a maker is he puts the inside, by default, from what I heard anyway, he lines it with a wetsuit. And the idea behind that is that it keeps sweat off the outside of the fur. But trust me, you don't want it. It's so uncomfortable. Like, I can't even express to you. It's like, imagine jumping in a sauna wearing a latex costume. Well, heck, wearing a dry suit or a wetsuit. It's not a good idea. You sweat, it pools inside, and it doesn't, oh, no. You don't want it. So that's the one thing I'll say about his suits. They're amazing. They look great. They're very generic in terms of they all look like characters from the show. They look like kind of a pony that's been modified to look like the character. And that's great if that's what you're looking for, because it looks just like the show where they have a base and then they change it a little bit and now you've got a different pony. Well, that's how his stuff is made, which is really cool. So there's him. There's like a couple other makers that have made suits that don't make them anymore, pony suits. Anyway, I could go on that for a topic for a while. Bottom line, look on for Affinity is probably your biggest bet to find commissioners. There are so many people making fursuits these days. A lot of people would love the idea of making an MLP character. They've just never been asked. So my suggestion is ask them, see if they're willing. Maybe ask them if they've done any hooved characters before, that kind of thing. I was noticing that Lightning Flash had some differences to how he made his hooves. Dash's hooves is just a piece of foam that's literally been, carved into a hole, and I put my hand in here, and that's it, and it just sits inside this flap that's got a zipper. That's it. It's not really that complicated. Some people prefer the way that Lightning Flash did it, where it's got a handle in here. I actually kind of like the free movement because I can put my hands further down in here if I want to. I can take them out so I can actually grasp things if I need to. Anyway, whatever. There's different ways to deal with that. I could go into that topic for a while. Mad Doggy, we haven't shown any of your suits yet. Why don't we talk about your stuff?
Talk about getting into suits. See, I sort of cheaped out when I got my very first suit because I actually got a mascot, and they're very generic. They're like, I paid like $550 Canadian for it. Got it off of. I'm trying to remember where I got it off of. You could basically find these on eBay. So I didn't, for my first pony related fursuit, I ended up getting one of those cheap mascot ones because I knew I was going to retire mine after a while. I don't usually wear it anymore after 6 years. So the one I have, and she got famous for it, we actually had her show up at, what was that show called? Not PAX, not PAX. What's that Vancouver place we showed up at?
Fan Expo.
No, where we did the Brony Tail.
Oh, that was the film festival, Vancouver International Film Festival.
Yeah, there's a short acronym for it, and I can't remember for the life of me what it was called.
VIF.
Yeah. Anyways, she got featured there when Ashley Ball did her video. And this is just one of the generic off run-of-the-mill mascot ones you can get. I have the full suit in my closet. I have like 4 full suits that I have hanging up in my closet right now. I'm currently in the office because I don't have a computer in my room right now, so I couldn't do it there. So this is her head.
If any of you remember this movie, both
that would be it.
Yeah, the costume you're looking at right now with Mad Doggy and the one I'm wearing was actually in this. The special features of this. If you go on the special features of this, you'll see us in there.
So yeah, this one is your run-of-the-mill style. Like I said, if you want to just get into a cheap costume and you don't care too much for, I'm going to say throw some money away in this case, these will get you started. They're not the greatest, and they're hot when you get in because they're double suited, I believe, as in the outside and the inside are both fur lined, which makes it really hot. And a head like this with a round base on it, if I could show you, it just sits on your shoulder. So this eventually does get super uncomfortable, especially when you're trying to turn your head. It doesn't really turn with your body that well because it just floats on your shoulders. And if you're like me with somebody that's got small shoulders, this is actually kind of hard to use sometimes when you're turning your head. Assuming it even turns when you turn your head, because there's so much room in here for a head that you can turn it without actually turning the head itself. I'm not like Finn and Lightning Flash. I've never attempted to make my own suits. All my suits have been bought pre-made, and I've got a few of them, like my wolf one. Now these ones are expensive. I can't remember who made this one, but the head alone is about $1,000. So if you're thinking of getting into fursuiting, depending on your style of fursuit, if you're looking for a realistic one built on a solid base that has a movable jaw, including fans, which I can't show you in this one because it's all, yeah, you probably won't see it. The zipper's not that great, but heads like these, the realistic, and I'm a big fan of realistic ones, are really nice. The downside is you'll never catch me wearing this because I can't see out of it. The only place you could see out of these are the small little holes near the eyes, and this head in particular doesn't have great vision because of that. I'll kill myself walking around with this on. This is impossible to look at. Really nice mounted on the wall.
Lightning Flash, how's the visibility out of yours? Like, you're showing some amazing photos there, by the way. I'll point out of your build process, and that was really cool. Thanks for showing those off. What's your visibility like in your suit?
So in my suit, you can basically you can see anywhere but right in front of you, because pony eyes are so separated on the normal like pony like model that you can't actually see straight in front of you. So I walk around with my head tilted to the side, and I use one eye to walk straight lines around.
Yeah,
for the most part, I can see everything off to my sides. It's pretty visible because pony eyes are so big. You have the advantage of being able to make eyes that you can, look through.
That's the problem I have with this generic mascot, because you can see the bridge on the nose is like 5 inches wide that I literally have to walk with my head sideways and looking at one of the eyes just to go straight.
That's the difference.
So if you see a pony looking at you, right at you as they're walking, it's because they can't look anywhere else without tripping on something.
And there's a number of other challenges when you're wearing costumes. Like when I'm wearing Dash here, like this is me looking at the camera. This is me looking at you. So I have to remember to always put you into my blind spot so that I'm actually looking at you. And it's one of those kind of tricks, but I can see my hand here. I have no problem seeing it. In fact, I can see it right there. So the visibility is really good in this suit, which is an advantage of this particular maker. So you got a couple other suits there too, Mad Doggy. Like, which ones do you prefer to wear and why?
Okay, so talking about suits, so my latest one is more cartoonish looking, and this one is probably my favorite to get into. It's the easiest to see. The bridge of the nose is so small, it's maybe half an inch wide, and her eyes are directly out, so I can actually look at you straight and not have to tilt my head or anything to see what's in front of me, which makes these great. Nice things about these ones is they're light. In my opinion, the lighter the fursuit, the easier it is to wear and perform because you're not dying of heat in it.
Super heavy.
Yes,
True.
my mascot head is terribly heavy. I retired it for a reason.
Yeah. And it depends a lot on the maker too. Like, that's the other thing. You've got like Dash here. Her head is quite light because it's made of foam. That also means it won't last as long as the plastic heads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's very lightweight, like you say, so a lot less thing. I've got another character as well, since you're showing off some non-ponies.
Yep.
This is Ayoko the Husky, and he's made by One for All Studios. You'll notice he has a really neat trick with his eyes. That's what a lot of people refer to as 3D eyes. And the eyes are not actually moving. A lot of people think they are. This is kind of like the Mona Lisa effect, where because the distance between the front and the back is perfectly aligned, and this is not something most makers get right. I'll point that out. You can buy 3D eyes from a lot of makers, and most of them don't work, at least not fully. You'll notice he's looking at you no matter what angle, including right at the extremes. Most makers don't have that ability. So this is a really fun character to perform. If I can kind of make a weird hybrid here, I'm going to put his head on and I'll just show you that there's different things you can do. His suit, his head is actually made of plastic, so he's got a movable jaw. He's quite old too. He's 10 years old now, so I've been wearing him for a long time. He's really stood the test of time. I've actually performed at MLP conventions as Ayoko, and I went around as a diamond dog. So I went around with a really badly drawn sign that says "Gems, please" with a MPL's head, and did that, and people thought it was hilarious. I had a little like paw full of gems that I'd go around. I'm like, "Give me your gems," and they try to take mine, and I'd get all upset and try to beat them up, quote unquote. It's quite fun. So with him though, so here now I'm Rainbow Dash the Husky, but I've got a movable jaw. I can change the expression that he has. So like based on where I put his eye, I can change how he looks. So like, happy, what are you doing kind of look. There's all kinds of different expressions I can give. And that's all based on where I put his eye, which means I have to do that constantly, because if I've got people all over the place, I got to remember that they're also looking at me, and I'm looking at him, I'm looking at her, I'm looking at her, I'm looking at them, I'm looking at that dog, I'm looking at everything. So I have to constantly be moving around and just adjusting my gaze so I don't give that stare, which is very uncomfortable. But anyways, he's another character that I perform. He's a full body costume. I have the rest of the costume down here. But yeah, there's lots of different styles of costume you can get, or fursuit, if you will. I agree with you on the lightness factor. I have a fan in his head, which helps a lot. I don't have one in Rainbow Dash, but Rainbow Dash is also the warmest costume I have. Padding is not light and not breathable. You'll end up with a lot of people with problems with breathability and stuff like that, just based on the fact that their costume has a lot of padding in it. If you'll excuse me, guys, I'm going to actually start on another question here. They're talking about maintenance, partial and full suits. And someone's, this is Stormcloud asking that. They're saying that mainly they have one, and they're curious what the best way is to keep one alive and well for the longest time. Travis, what do you do for yours? I'm just going to jump into a channel and see if our other guests are going to make it in here. Why don't you take that one?
So for cleaning is important, actually. Don't be, as the fandom says, don't be a husky musky, because nobody likes a smelly suit. It's kind of disgusting. With all my suits, don't be afraid to put them in the wash machine under a cold cycle with either very minimum or no spin. So a hand wash, if most wash machines will have a hand wash, do it on a cold cycle. And for whatever you do, don't ever put them in a dryer. Fursuits isn't real fur. It's plastic. It will melt. And the last thing you want to do is spend $3,000 or $2,000 on a bodysuit or any part. Your head. I wouldn't actually throw my head in a washing machine. I'd always hand wash mine. My heads are the only thing that gets hand washed, but your paws, hands, your bodysuits, keep them away when you're drying. Just let it be air dry, preferably not direct sunlight, because if it's plus 30 out or plus 20, you got direct sunlight, A, you'll fade the color, and B, you'll probably have a good chance of melting it. So always hang dry your suits, but don't be afraid to put them in the washing machine. And the other thing a lot of people don't do, and I don't actually have I have a horse, I actually have a legit horse brush, and I have a dog brush. Brush your suits out like as soon as they come out of the wash machine, or as soon as you get them wet, basically washed. Brush them out, and don't be afraid to take fur with it. You will take fur off your fursuit every time you brush it. And eventually, yes, you will get bald spots probably within your fursuit, but that's just part of the package.
They only last so long, and that's one of the things. Sorry, keep going, Maddoggieca.
Yep. Yeah.
I got one other thing you might want to do when you're washing.
Yep.
Is do not hang it after you are washing it, because it will stretch.
See, I've always hanged mine. I've never had a issue with mine.
The fur might be
stretching.
light enough on yours, but
Even my pony suit, my heavy one, I've always hanged it. But when I hang it, the first thing I do, like, I spend probably a half an hour. As soon as it's pulled out, I brush it like crazy. And
speaking of brushing, this Dash was brushed just before this panel. That's how much fur came out of her.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, this is never coming back. But at the same time, this is pulling out fur that theoretically is already either loose or like broken or anything like that. So I mean, don't like worry for a moment about it coming. I
can't tell you how much fur I've pulled off of mine.
Yeah. So if you ever do decide to invest in $2 or $3 grand or $5 grand, depending what suits you guys might be interested, just be prepared. Eventually you won't have that suit anymore, because it will age over time. So if you're going to buy a suit, don't be afraid to use it. That's what you bought it for. Enjoy it while you have it.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can hang it in your closet and never touch it, and it would be fine.
Yep.
But why would you buy a suit and do that? The other problem is that a lot of makers, including the one that made Dash here, used, and I'm just going to call this out, the wrong type of foam. This is latex foam. Latex foam degrades. This will turn to powder over time. In fact, it already has in a number of places. If you ever decide to make one yourself, my suggestion is, if you're going to use foam in anything, including the head or anywhere like that, use marine grade seat cushion foam. So again, marine grade. You're still going to want to use open cell foam. Open cell means it squishes, right? But the marine grade stuff is designed to take moisture and will not break down, because it's an artificial foam. It's an artificial rubber. So that's a suggestion. But yeah, as far as maintenance goes, as Maddoggieca was saying, wash your suit. Turn it inside out and wash it. Cold cycle, wool light, minimal detergent. Yeah, because inside of the suit is where the sweat is. Okay, so that's what you want to wash. The outside will also get it, even though it's turned inside out. Do a spin cycle with it. Put it on delicate. Make sure it's not on your major cycle unless you have no other choice. But my suggestion is put it on delicates for sure if you can. Stuff like tails, like Dash, I've washed Dash 24 times, maybe more. And I mean, this suit has never had a problem. She's got a stuffed tail. So, I mean, when I turn her inside out, the tail just kind of goes on the inside. The wings go on the inside. It goes in the washing machine. I pull it out after the spin cycle. After the spin cycle, she's basically dry. I turn her the right side out immediately and immediately brush her and hang her. But at that point, there's a lot less water on her, so she's not going to stretch like what Lightning Flash was suggesting. So that's my opinion. I've been doing this a long time, and that's how I've maintained my suits. But my husky, Ioko, he's 10 years old, and he's seen, I mean, geez, Maddoggieca, how many cons has he been to at this point? Probably, I'm going to say it's in the hundreds. Like, that's not an exaggeration. Or events, I should say, not just cons, but events. Yeah, I also am part of I never even told people this. I'm part of a nonprofit mascot performance group. I've also been paid to be a mascot, so I don't know if that means I'm a professional mascot, but I was paid to do it, so I guess that means I've been a professional mascot. I'm not currently, but I was doing that job for over 10 years. So I mean, seeing costume, like you said, costumes don't last forever. You buy them to use them. Use them. Go out there, make people happy, make people smile.
Yeah. I got a question for all you guys, because since we're here talking about costumes and once you use them, the hardest thing I found with a costume, believe it or not, is a way to dispose of one. How do you get rid of an old costume and not feel guilty about it?
That's a
I've
good
had-
question.
I've had to. I've actually. I hate to say it, but I've trashed 3 partials now. I've actually legitly put them in the garbage and sent them off to the landfill. It feels so bad, but how else are you going to do it?
I mean, they are just a fabric item in the end. I would personally never get rid of a costume like that, but that's me. Mine mean a little bit more to me than just a costume in a lot of ways. Like Ioko will never go away. My Affinity suit, despite the fact he's terrible, he's creepy dolphin man, I will never get rid of it because it was my first suit. It was the first one I learned, and it's how I learned to do things. But yeah, I mean, they're just clothing. So I mean, hopefully you don't have the same problem that a lot of people have where their heads break down and turn to dust, like I was talking about. And based on that, Kaiser was asking the question, is the proper stuff the green stuff? That's going to depend a lot on where you buy it. But yes, I've seen the marine grade foam be green. I've also seen it be pure white. And I've also seen it be yellow. It just depends on where you buy it. It's just they mix certain colors into it depending on who's buying it and stuff like that. What grade it is. Certain colors sometimes mean different densities. Don't buy too dense of a foam. You're going to have a really hard time with it. And don't put foam on the bottom of your feet. It compresses and turns to paper.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dash's foot is made of, I made this foot because this actually didn't have these feet or hoods. Is made of EVA foam, which is the same stuff you use on yoga mats. It has compressed so much that these were 2 layers, and I knew they were going to. It's compressed down to even less than 1 layer now. So I can actually feel the ground with every step. And if I shift my foot, I can feel that impression of my foot in the bottom. But anyway, that's just because I wanted to extend. This suit was made for someone much shorter than me, and I had to kind of do a few things, including the previous owner had to do certain things like extend this part so it actually goes up the neck further, put in a snap, make the hooves so that they actually extend down so it's a little bit taller. And in the end, she's very tight, as you can see on me, but still works, still stretches. You know, as I get fatter, it'll probably be worse, but you know, just gives me an excuse to go work out. Yeah. All right. Well, that covers most of the main topics in terms of that. I was actually hoping we were going to have a few more guests. We had 2 or 3 people say they were going to try to make it today. Hopefully they do show up. We'll see how it goes here. But I know our team is waiting for them to join. So in the meantime, we could tell a couple fun stories because a lot of people say, why would I bother spending that kind of money or getting that sweaty? And that is something that is a topic a lot of people don't understand until they do it. This is an incredibly hot and uncomfortable costume to wear. Now, that said, I think it's worth it. But you have to be ready for the fact you are going to sweat more than you've ever sweated in your life. And that's not an exaggeration, I don't think. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, you will sweat. And if you've never done it before, don't do a 15 or a 10-hour stunt. You will get heat stroke, and I've seen it happen. So if you are not somebody that's, I'm going to say, trained to be in something hot for like 4 or 5 hours, don't attempt it if you've never done it before. You will heat stroke. And paramedics don't care if you spend $3,000 on a suit. They will cut you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they know. I've heard some cases where people knew and they did take the time to take them out, but that's in a very rare scenario.
But if you're out in a public event and you heat stroke, they don't care. They will destroy your suit just to get you out of it.
Well, because at that point, it is literally a life.
It's your life versus the suit.
Yeah. And I mean, okay. So bottom line is that be aware of what you're getting into when you get into one of these. Now, with that said, it isn't always as bad as people say it is. I do certain things, like I'm, for example, wearing what a lot of people refer to as Under Armour. This stuff, and I've got it all the way down here too. So I've got it both, top and bottom. This stuff, and of course I'm wearing underwear and everything, but this stuff is it's a lycra, and the tighter you can get it. This one actually isn't that tight on me. The tighter you can get it, the better it works, and they call it moisture wicking. What it does is it actually pulls, and man, that feels good with a fan on me. It pulls the moisture away from your skin and to the surface of this costume, or this fabric. So while I'm wearing this, it almost feels like I'm wearing an air conditioner layer. As long as I've got any kind of air movement at all, even just walking around in suit. You'll notice most people wearing these suits don't stop moving. I definitely don't. The reason for that is because as you're moving, air is moving up and down through the suit as you're lifting your legs and moving your arms, and the air is coming in and out of the fabric, and you actually get some exchange of air, which makes you cooler in most respects. If you're just standing there like this, you're just sweating, and it sucks. And you look like a statue. To me, I don't find that very engaging either, because like, do you want to walk up to a statue that's looking at you creepily, or do you want to walk up to someone who's interacting with you? To me, it's always the latter. I always want to be interacting and be that character that they say, hey, that looks like fun. I want to go say hi to that character. Anyways, but regarding heat, Lycra is your friend. You can buy this stuff. I bought this at Walmart for $10. I mean, they're super cheap. If you want to spend the big dollar stuff, go buy something called a dive skin, which is one piece with a zipper in the front. They're very convenient, but you'll also spend $100 on it. So, I mean, a dive skin works. Just make sure it's made of polyester and it's Lycra, not cotton. You do not want cotton. Cotton is, there are some people that say cotton's better. I don't know what they're thinking. I've never seen cotton do anything but make you just sweat more. So, yeah. Do you wear anything under yours, Lightning Flash?
I usually do Under Armour. Okay. That helps a lot with keeping like your skin breathing, because then your sweat gets into that and not just like making a barrier.
Right.
And also drinking lots of water.
Yes.
Always remember,
water.
like, I don't care whoever you are. Some people bring Camelbacks, but make sure you have some form of water on you, and you're drinking constantly throughout the day if you're wearing for extended periods.
Yeah, I do what I call a hydro load.
Yeah. So like, I was wearing this suit at Brony Palooza, and it am I showing up on here? Okay. I was just switching back between everything, and this actually had water in the bottom of it. It was pretty gross. Not gonna lie.
Squishy sound.
I mean, it was a puddle. My electronics actually stopped working. These glow around the end. They actually stopped working. So, and I took if you're gonna go to like a rave or anything like Brony Palooza, BronyCon, make sure you constantly go back after. I would say after every 2 or 3 songs, at least go and get some water. If you're gonna be out.
Okay, guys, hold on. The streams just went down.
Wait,
yeah, it's not us. They just told us the stream just went down.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
they broke it.
It's broken.
No.
Twitch is having issues apparently. So we'll, if you can hear this, we apologize. Sometimes our streams go down. That's how it happens. We're apparently, Mitzi just told me that she's been waiting to get in and hasn't been let in. So I don't know what's up.
Sad face.
Yeah. Are we back?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll tell you when it is. They'll tell me. They'll probably get the last piece. Oh, we're back. Oh, okay. Oh. Sorry about that, guys. We had a stream interruption for a moment. We're just trying to find out what's going on. Oh, there we go.
She's in.
Hey.
So that would be the Avalon suit you're talking about.
This is Twilight? So this is Starlight Glimmer, everyone, or at least Starlight Glimmer's head.
Like, listen, I was about to put on the entire thing, but I mean, I realized it's almost impossible to do that alone.
Yeah.
Your zipper's in the back, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I've helped you put that suit on. I can't imagine putting that on by yourself. That's got to be difficult as heck.
It's impossible to do that, to do it by yourself.
So, okay, well, Mitzi, why don't you tell us a little bit about your suit? Who made it? What character is it? What's the deal?
Well, this character here is Starlight Glimmer, but obviously Starlight Glimmer for that Christmas episode, the Heartswarming Eve episode, and basically has the old little top hat. Uh, it comes with this little spatula that goes on your hooves on the
Yeah.
bottom.
That goes around your hooves, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it comes with the little jacket here from the episode. 100% accurate. Like I can't believe the maker did this. And speaking of the maker, his name is Adelon the Deer. He is from Germany, and like he does excellent work on his fursuits here and there, top quality. If you're looking for a pony suit, he's one of the guys to go to.
He's probably the number one in the world for pony suits, I would say.
Yeah, I guess you could put it that way. Yes.
Yeah. Are you happy with the suit overall?
Oh, very much. Absolutely worth every dollar.
Very cool. I know a lot of people have been asking pricing. What is his price range for a costume similar to Starlight?
Let's see. I mean, it could range up from between 1,500 to this suit will cost around $3,200.
Okay. And I mean, the prices, of course, may have changed since you looked, but that's what it, yeah, when you got her. Which, I'll be honest, that's actually completely reasonable. Like a typical fursuit today, you're looking at 3,500 to 4,000 to start from a major maker. So that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, his prices are negotiable here and there, but I mean, it's really up to you to talk to him and whatnot, see if you get like negotiate a price here and there. And it's going to take a while. As soon as you order it, it's going to take a while since, you know, he lives not only in Germany, to get to your place in the US. So,
yeah, no, that's awesome.
Which quickly brings me to if you are anybody out there looking to commission a fursuit, be prepared to upfront $3,000 and wait 9 to 18 months to get it.
Yeah.
If it's like, you will not get it right away. Don't expect to wear that suit that you commissioned the same year that you commissioned it. Usually,
there is no Amazon Prime for fursuits. So bottom line is, yeah, you're gonna wait. You might not have to put down $3,000. That's probably the upper limit, but you will have to put some kind of deposit down of at least, usually it's 50%.
Yep.
So be aware of that. You're going to be out that money for the entire duration. I've been waiting for a suit commission on the extreme level for over 5 years, to give you an idea.
And
so,
if you
go ahead.
And if you cancel your fursuit commission, be prepared to lose the money because they normally don't refund.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. All right, I'm gonna interrupt everyone. We've only got a couple minutes left here. In fact, we're down to our last minute. I see there's one more question. So, do we have any recommendation on resources for making suits? We'll post a couple in the chat. Actually, maybe Lightning Flash, you would probably be the best person to suggest places for like 3D printing resources and stuff. Could you put that into our neural net stage questions, if you don't mind? I think you're muted.
Quick, someone pull the string. He ain't talking.
There we go.
There
Okay,
you go.
I'm back. Sorry. Yeah, there's a couple places. Thingiverse is like the biggest place for 3D models. There are a few others. Though I would like to say Thingiverse sometimes is a bit slow, and it's kind of a big joke that it's running off a Raspberry Pi.
It can be very slow.
Yes.
Okay, Thingiverse, that's great. If you have any other suggestions, we'll post that there. I had one more question here. Do you know anywhere to get stretch fur? Japan. That's the only place I know of where it's sold. And for whatever reason, it's very inexpensive in Japan. I have never found a resource for it here in North America. However, I will say that DF Fur, Distinctive Fabrics.com sells this kind of fur. In fact, I'm fairly certain that's where this came from. They sell this in almost every color you can find. This is the one inch luxury teddy, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
That stuff is slightly stretchy. This is, it's not 4-way stretch, any more than it's just stretchy a little bit. But I mean, it's definitely stretching when I put this on. So it's not 4-way stretch. It's not the stuff from Japan. That stuff's amazing, but you can't find that here for any less than like $100 a yard. So good luck to you.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it. That's unfortunately all the time we have. If you have any other questions, my name's Affinity. I'm going to be around all day. I'm running 2 other panels today. Feel free to reach out to me, or I know any of my co-hosts here would probably be very keen to answer any questions if it came up. I wanted to give a big thank you to Mad Doggy for coming out here and showing off his costumes, to Mitzi for showing off his awesome Starlight Glimmer. That's awesome. And Lightning Flash, again, for showing not only your suit, but all the making of and photos and just your opinion overall. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for coming out. And again, hope to see you at all the cons. So thanks, guys.
Take it easy.
Sign it off.
Yeah.
This is where we stare at the camera until the stream turns off.
Right.
Doop, 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 doop.
You have no idea what it.
This is where I got my fur. Fursuit supplies. But
Oh, it looks like. Okay, well, I don't know if we're ended yet, but I'm just waiting for our lovely stream technicians to confirm that we have in fact ended the stream.
I had to rip half my closet apart just to get Rainbow Dash's head out because I had it buried.
Yikes.
me too.
My closet is nothing but fursuit bodies hanging up and a couple heads because my
Okay.
2 pony heads I'm retiring.
Okay, we're offline. Thanks, guys.
Offline.
Yeah, Mitzi, sorry about that, buddy. That it turns out the guy who was monitoring the channel lost their and didn't realize they weren't seeing you on the waiting list. So apologies for making you. Making you wait all that time. I thanks for sticking it out. I appreciate that.
Nah, no worries at all.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. That was great. We didn't have quite as many guests as I was hoping, but hey, whatever. We made it work, and I think it was.
How many guests did we have? I mean, where do you even see that stats? I'm just curious. I've never used Zoom or anything like that.
Yeah,
so
either have I.
Yeah, I'm actually curious.
Oh no, sorry. I don't mean stream guests. I meant guests like you and me and.
Oh,
Oh,
well, I thought you had status of how many people were watching. I was like, that's interesting. I'd like to know that.
Yeah, how many people were watching?
I wouldn't imagine we got a significant number, but we probably got in the in the teens for sure, and probably in the 20s or 30s if we were lucky. So,
What's your other panels?
It's better than something.
I'm running a drone panel,
Okay.
which based on the rain, I guess will be an indoor flight demonstration. And then we're doing a Brony Feud again at the end of the night.
Ooh, nice.
Brony Feuds.
Nice.
Actually, if you haven't applied, we're still taking contestants. So check in the announcements, and on Twitter we announced the contestant form, and go fill it out because we pick at random, so you might get in there.
Okay. Well, I may or may not be home. I have to take off at some point.
It's at 7:30 Pacific.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tonight. We're the final event before closing ceremonies.
Nice.
All right.
In the main stage too. Anyways, thanks guys. I'm gonna sign out and
Drones
get ready for my
suck.
next.
Oh,
You know who sucks? You.
what did you?
Oh, me.
Yeah, you. It's all your fault too. For I don't know what, but everything is your fault. So
Damn, you got me there, man.
I know
Sorry.
it's true, right? Yeah.
I had one question real quick. What did you want me to post? Resources?
If you look in the panels section of Discord, there's one called Neural Nets Stage Questions.
Got it.
If you
Okay.
could just preface it and just say these are great resources for suit building or whatever else.
Got it.
I'm going to post one as well. Suit building.
Because I just remembered the site that I had gotten all my fursuit supplies from. It's actually called Fursuit Supplies. And they have
Yeah.
a great variety of colors. Like, it's crazy.
Oh yeah. Fursuit Surprise is run by a friend of mine, and actually, yeah, they have a ridiculously large selection of things. Eventually, they were buying so much stuff, they eventually realized, hey, why don't I just sell this? So they did. And so
It was kind of interesting because I'm like, the inventory was really slow at one point, but it came back. So
Yeah.